Hello, my name is Alana Harris, and I'm a counseling intern at Full Circle Grief Center. I'm currently getting my master's in clinical mental health counseling at Virginia Commonwealth University. Today, my conversation about grief is going to be about what you might experience when it comes to milestones and anniversaries after the loss of a loved one. As I'm sure many of you already know, particular times of the year can be especially difficult after the death of someone close to you. Holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas come to mind, especially if your loss happened around that time. Something we tend to talk about less often are the feelings that come around particular milestones or anniversaries after a loss. Times of celebration for other people that you're less inclined to celebrate since the death of your loved one. Your support system tends to show up for you around the holidays and known events that might be triggering, but your loved ones may be less aware of the grief that comes with milestones involving secondary losses. Secondary losses and grief are losses that occur as a result of the death of a loved one. Think about how your friendships, lifestyle, finances, or anything like that may have changed or continues to change, since your loved one died. Think of the kinds of milestones that you've already experienced without your loved one or may experience in the future. You could be reminded of these secondary losses by seeing others graduate, get engaged, have children, or any other milestone similar to those. It's normal to feel happy for them while mourning what could have been. Or you might not even feel happy at all, and that's completely normal. Maybe it's the other way around, and you're set to graduate without your loved one. They're not there to cheer you on as you walk across the stage, or not there to help you blow out your candles, anything like that. Again, birthdays, anniversaries, engagements, weddings, the death anniversary, anything like that. Those are just some of the things that won't feel the same after the death of a loved one. Our lives and the lives of those around us continue on, and the difficult question is how can we continue to celebrate without our loved ones? Doesn't feel possible, potentially. Sometimes we may not consciously know that these milestones are approaching, but our bodies will tend to tell us before our brains do. Certain times of the year feel particularly exhausting or marked by more intense feelings that we can't necessarily explain. This is a normal part of grief. Anger, nostalgia, despair, longing, guilt, and numbness are all appropriate reactions to the unfathomable loss that you're experiencing. However, there is no right way to feel, so I may have not mentioned some of the feelings there. Um, Grief is a unique experience for everybody. But the question we ask ourselves is how can we cope? How can we live with these feelings as the world continues to go on celebrating without our loved one? There is no perfect answer. Like I said, each grief experience is unique, and individuals have to find out what best works for them. However, today I wanted to go over some examples of the ways that people have continued to honor, remember, and even celebrate their loved ones during these milestones and anniversaries. What's Your Grief is a great resource that we at Full Circle like to use and can maybe helpful to you in your grief journey. And they actually gathered some ideas and suggestions that were shared by the grieving community on how they remember and honor their loved one on special days like those I listed earlier. There's some I would like to point out in particular, but I will link to the resource from What's Your Grief, so that you could read even more of these options for coping and remembering. These suggestions were specific to birthdays, but they can be tweaked to fit any special occasion, such as graduations, anniversaries, weddings, anytime, any event that may bring up more emotional responses to the loss of your loved one. So the first one was to light a candle in honor of your loved one. If this is the date of their birthday, what would have been their birthday, you may buy a cake and put some candles on there and blow them out for your loved one. If this is a graduation that your loved one isn't here to witness, or what would have been their graduation, you may just light a candle and be present and think about memories that make you feel good. And when you're ready, then blowing out that candle. Another option, number two, is planting something each year in their memory. So if this is your wedding anniversary or the anniversary of the day that you met your loved one, um, planting something on that day, like a tree or a flower, may give you something to do and to have the ability to watch something grow, even when your loved one is no longer here. So that was a suggestion by somebody. Another suggestion, and I think we talk about this at Full Circle a lot, is to write a letter. So if it is their birthday, writing them a birthday card and what you might say to them on their birthday as each one passes. If it's not the birthday, maybe it's a big event like what would have been their graduation date. You could write what you would want to say to them on their graduation date. And this is a really, if you like writing, this is a really cathartic process that can help you get out and release some of the things that you've been thinking that may have been on your mind and might not have come out. I find that writing for me is very helpful. So that might be something that can become a tradition for you, writing a letter, and keeping those together. Another option that somebody suggested is to have a tradition of going to a specific place on their birthday or anniversary of their death. Um, Perhaps dinner at the same spot or going to the movies if your person really liked movies or if they had a particular restaurant that they liked a lot, going there and being present and honoring them by getting a meal that they would have liked or a dessert that they would have liked. Something like that is a great way of remembering and honoring your loved one. And it also can help you have a place to go if you feel like you have no place to go. Um, that can remind you of them and give you a place to go. Another option is to give a monetary donation in their name to a cause that they might have supported. Some people maybe donate blood in honor of their person or giving money to a charitable cause that their person would have loved. So there's a number of things, ways that you could go from there, but that was a suggestion that somebody offered. Another option is to go to their gravesite or remembrance spot and take flowers that they would have liked there. I know that's a common practice, and something that can become a tradition when feelings of grief get especially overwhelming. It's a way to ground, and be present with your person. Another option that somebody offered was to paint rocks and leave them in places where other people can find them. This is kind of a way to honor and remember their legacy if they were somebody who really was kind and wanted to pass on and share that kindness with other people. This is a way that you can continue doing that by leaving a small, beautiful find for somebody else. Um, And outside of these options of ways to honor and remember and get through milestones or anniversaries, I also just want to remind you to honor your own pace. Trust yourself and honor what you are available to give on any given day. Though these are a lot of opportunities or a lot of options for you to get through these days, you might not be ready to do some of these things. If all you can give is, lighting a candle and blowing it out after 5 minutes, then that's what you're able to do. If you feel like the way that you can get through the day is by sleeping the whole day and that's what your body needs, then listen to your body. There's no right or wrong way to grieve or to handle these significant dates. Another thing that I just want to remind you of is to open yourself up to sharing feelings and sharing your grief experience if that's something that helps. Whether that's via a support group or if that's just calling someone that you love, a family member or friend, um, and letting them know that you need extra support on this day or for this week. Um, Letting people know when you need support or sharing your grief experience may give them the permission to do that themselves as well. We all rely on each other. We all need human connection, and it can be hard to find at times, but there's always support out there, and hopefully you can share these feelings with somebody else. The last point that I want to make as I wrap up this video, again, is to kind of be easy on yourself. No matter how long ago you lost your loved one, that pain is still real. It may get easier to carry, but the pain will probably always be there, though it's easier. And some days might feel worse than others, some days might feel better than others, um, especially when it comes to milestones, anniversaries, birthdays, things like that. And often when thinking about grief, we think of it in the five stages. So bargaining, denial, depression, anger, acceptance. But another friendly reminder that that process is not linear. So there, 10 years could have gone by, but that grief will still be with you, and it may be worse because the anniversary is coming up or a big milestone is coming up. So just be kind to yourself if you ever feel like your grief process has gone back a few steps or you feel like you're at square one. I want to share this quote by Dr. Mary Frances O'Connor, a psychologist who does a lot of research in grief. She said, "We don't do all depression and get to all of acceptance, but rather over time, research suggests that yearning declines and that acceptance increases. But this doesn't happen in a stair-step kind of way. Rather, we know, for example, that at anniversaries or at the holidays, people tend to have a resurgence of grief. That doesn't mean that their grieving trajectory isn't still going in the right direction. It just means that there are moments where people are aware of their grief." So that just goes to show that even if you feel like you've gone backwards or you're struggling a lot more than usual and you're being hard on yourself about that, just remember that that doesn't mean that you're not still going in the right direction, that you haven't made progress. It just means that you're remembering and you're honoring your loved one by feeling that and going through those steps again. And the last quote I will give you to walk away with as I end this video is by Vicki Harrison, and it says, "Grief is like the ocean. It comes in waves, ebbing and flowing. Sometimes the water is calm, and sometimes it is overwhelming. All we can do is learn to swim." Thank you for watching. Take care.